Hey everybody, Mark Johnson here, founder and creative director of Able Aim Studios, back again with another book review. I actually am shooting this on St. Patrick's Day, so if you hope you had a wonderful St. Patrick's Day, safe and joyous. But back to the book review. Today's book review, to kind of give you a little background about how I came about deciding to read this book. I think the first person I ever heard talk about this book was Ty Lopez. I've been watching his videos from early on YouTube. I think I follow him on a few other social media apps, like I think I have him on Instagram and possibly Twitter. And watching his YouTube videos early on, he was really all about the books. And just kind of watching his videos and seeing the books that he reviewed and talked about, and kind of quoted. I remember one time he talked about this book that I'm going to review today, which is Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, and he was talking about some quotes that he had gathered from the book, and it was kind of interesting. I didn't necessarily think that I would really gravitate to it straight off, but I know that Mario knows that he had talked about it again in previous or other videos, and it kind of seemed like an interesting book. So I put it on my list, and roundabout way it kind of got to the point where I ended up reading the book, getting the book. And so the book that I'm reviewing today, like I said, is Marcus Aurelius's Meditations. And the to kind of give you the era of this book, when it was written originally, was kind of like biblical times, Socrates, so the great philosophers. Around that time, he wasn't Greek, but I think he was a Roman soldier, kind of became an emperor, something like that. And so the way that they talk, or the way that he writes, kind of mirrors what you would kind of necessarily find in the Bible or any kind of books around that time. So in that sense, it's a little difficult to understand sometimes. Different era, maybe we speak it, definitely speak differently. But so a lot of the stuff that he's talking about there is things that relate to life. How to lead your life the best way that you possibly can. And definitely when you're dealing with tough times, dealing with good times, dealing with tough people, dealing with heartbreak, death, all these kind of different things. And so throughout the book, he kind of shares with you his insight on how to deal with those things and how to lead this life, or lead the best life that you could possibly lead. And I thought it was good. I think for me, it was definitely, like I talked about the Art of War and Sun Tzu, it was dense, so it's very much put into a little book. The book is not that long to read, it's not that many pages, but each line is filled with a lot of information. And then also with the fact that it is written in a different manner than we actually talk or read today, it made it a little more difficult to understand what he's trying to say or get to. Being a person who's read the Bible and that kind of thing, I've kind of been able to understand that way, or that form of speech, or that form of writing. But again, it was still difficult. It wasn't necessarily something that anyone could just pick up and just kind of easily read. With the fact that he's talking about life and how to live the best life, you got to also understand it was a different kind of lifestyle back then. But there are things that you can kind of draw out that would definitely give you a perspective on how to lead a well life, even in this time and day and time. I think also that the book, as much as it is dense and much as it's filled with a lot of information, you can, if you take your time reading it, and that's kind of what I ended up doing. I kind of, saw how thick it was, not thick, but how dense the book was with information. I kind of just took my time reading it, and I had to reread some parts just to kind of understand what he was talking about. And then there's parts where he's talking about a lot of people who are alive at that time. And so at that point, you got maybe research, Google it, who these people were to kind of get an idea of what he's talking about. And so I did that as well. But yeah, I think the book is filled with a lot of interesting things to talk about that you can even learn and translate into your life. I don't necessarily think this is a book for anyone. I wouldn't say that it's a bad book, just like I wouldn't say like I reviewed last week, Sun Tzu's book. I wouldn't say it's a bad book, but it's more or less a book that if you're interested in this kind of a topic, or just kind of get the reading in, I would suggest it. I wouldn't recommend it for just anyone, but I think at the same time, for those who have a little more in-depth reading experience and kind of can decipher some things a little easier, this would be a book that they could enjoy. So yeah, that's kind of my review for Marcus Aurelius Meditations. I would say that I'm glad that I read it, but I think at the same time, if I was going to go back and reread it again, I think I could maybe possibly draw a little bit more from it. But the things that I did get this first time through, I think was good. So I enjoyed it in that sense. And yeah, that is the review. So if you like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. If you like what I'm doing with the channel, definitely subscribe. And if you also want to maybe even share with me your thoughts on Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, because you've read it, or you've been thinking about reading it, or someone suggested it to you, or you even saw Tai Lopez's video and thought about reading it yourself, yeah, definitely leave me a comment in the box below. I'll definitely reply and give you maybe some more information of what I gathered from this book. But like we always do at this time, have a blessed day. See you on the flip side. Let's go.